All right. If there's an outage, if something happens, if there is a situation where there's no more power come in, you're going to have to do something pretty extraordinary. You're going to have to fire up those generators. These absolutely amazing, awesome pieces of machinery right here. This is a Caterpillar 2.5 megawatt generator. Now, here's the thing. It is not the only one on this site. We're actually going to take a look at a couple of the other ones out here, but this generator literally will kick in right after the batteries take over. We'll actually show you where that fuel is being held here as well. But these will kick in immediately to start taking over the load of this entire facility, which is not a small thing to do because as soon as these kick in, they can take over the load for this entire data center hall. We'll show you what that looks like in a second, but these are critical and there's more than one. Take a look at them. Okay, everybody, I'm actually going to show you something really, really nifty. Now, Scott Data Center is continuously expanding and growing. And to support more of their customers, you're going to have to put more capacity. And as a result, they're going to have to put in another generator. Maybe actually going to see something pretty special. This is an empty for now generator room, and that is a pallet, let's call it, upon which a generator, a 2.5 megawatt generator, behind me is where the exhaust is going to go, will actually sit one day. So right where I'm standing, there's going to be a generator right here filling up this room, ready to take over if there's an emergency. So this is actually what it looks like. This is called an envelope building. Once again, where everything is inside of the facility, including the generator that would sit right there. You just saw one generator. And there it is. It's hanging out behind me. But there's not just one. There's 8 of them here. That's just some more fun and interesting facts. There is enough fuel stored on site to circle the world 20 times in your car. That is a heck of a road trip. But that's what you need and require to house critical infrastructure to make sure that if there's ever an emergency, that this can actually continue to fully operate. Now, at full capacity, these generators will consume more than 1,000 gallons of fuel an hour, literally to keep this infrastructure up and running. The good news, they don't have to have them running very often because the utilities here are very, very good. But if there's ever an emergency, these things will kick on. Okay. You saw those generators just a while ago. Remember I talked about the fuel, and remember I talked about this design of this building being called an envelope design, which means everything is inside for security purposes, obviously. So if you're curious, here is what 24,000 gallons fuel looks like. It's quite a bit. Now, as you can see behind me, fully redundant with the piping and the architecture as well. Now, what's really special about Scott Data Center is how they treat and work with this fuel for efficiency, sustainability, and having to use less of it over time. Now, usually data centers with this amount of fuel or any kind of diesel fuel on site will clean and filter their fuel once, maybe twice a year. Here at Scott Data Center, they do it every single Monday for 8 hours, every Monday, 52 times a year to make sure that this fuel is usable, is clean, constantly reliable, and so they actually have to use less of it. So this is what it looks like, 24,000 gallons of fuel inside of this facility, surrounded and encased in concrete, again, to be able to secure you from weather events, other kind of security incidents. But again, this kind of architecture creates for a highly redundant facility. Actually, this one is a tier 3 Uptime Institute rated facility. We'll talk about what that means in a second. Let's go take a look at what keeps these facilities nice and cool, literally and figuratively. Let's go. Okay, it's going to get a little loud in here, but to keep this kind of infrastructure cool, you're going to need some pretty big units. These are 1,200 ton chiller units, chiller plants. Now, there's actually 2 of them. There's the other one. Let's go take a look at the screen really quick. Now, what's really fascinating about this, you can see over here what the temperature settings are for the in and the out, where the evaporator is and where the condenser is. So this actually goes out into the chiller plants and keeps this environment nice and cool. Now, there is a closed loop water system. I'll show you that in a second, but this is what a massive chiller plant looks like inside of this. Very, very cool mechanical room. Let's go take a look at some other stuff here in the mechanical room because honestly, all of this, I know it's a little loud, is really important to keep data centers up and running. And you can see those big chiller plants right behind me. Let's go take a look at some other stuff. All right, so there's always water inside of a data center. I mean, not like that, right? They're being used to cool stuff. They're not leaking out anything. But if you take a look up with me, there you go. You actually take a look and you can see this is the condenser water return, and this is the condenser water supply. Now, to actually work with these kinds of units, you are going to need some pretty big pumps. Well, let's take a look at them.
here's one, but what if something happens? Here's another. Now, the reason that Scott Data Center is so special is they take redundancy to an entirely new level with 3 pumps. And that's why they have multiple generators, multiple condensers, and multiple of these pumps to make sure that this environment continues to work properly. Now, what's really fascinating about this room, all of those black rings up there, those are valves that the team can use to check pressure, to make sure everything is working properly. And again, it's fully redundant, and you can see it goes out through this entire mechanical room.